Yeah, it has been a while. We're the 23rd day of May, 3 days before the new moon, and this is my first opportunity to get out and do some imaging with the 6-inch El Quattro fast Newtonian. What you're seeing here is a very early evening. The sky is still quite bright. It's 9:17 in the evening on the 23rd. You are seeing the great Hercules cluster down towards the bottom of the field at 100% zoom at somewhere between 150 and 250x. I have yet to finalize my decision on that. It varies between the f8 ED refractor and this 6-inch fast Newtonian. Tonight we're going to continue or resume our studies of the rounders, and finally we're going to see a few Messiers in the mix. While not exactly a rounder, what we're seeing here is a 2-second exposure of Messier 13, a great Hercules cluster. I did promise you at least one Messier this evening, but I think we've got a couple more on tap. The sky's still got some color to it, but it's probably time for us to get going. It is now 9:29 in the evening, and I shall navigate to our first study. This evening we will break the 3,000 mark on the NGC catalog. Begin this evening with a previous study, NGC2977. It's in Draco. It's at 9 hours, 43 minutes, 46.7 seconds, plus 74 degrees, 51 minutes, and 35 seconds. Visual magnitude of 12.5, 1.8 by 0.8 arc minutes, surface brightness of 12.8, a position angle of 145 degrees. Through a 17.5-inch scope done in 1989, Steve Gottlieb describes it as moderately bright, fairly small, oval, northwest to southeast, with a large, bright core. Not a bad view for so early in the evening. Our first new rounder of the evening is NGC 2985. It's an Ursa Majoris, located at 9 hours, 50 minutes, 22.1 seconds for ascension, plus 72 degrees, 16 minutes, and 44 seconds. Described by Steve. Now, it's got a visual magnitude of 10.4, a fairly large size, 4.6 by 3.6 arc minutes with an average surface brightness of 13.3 and a position angle of 0. Through a 14.5-inch scope at 182 and 226x, bright, fairly large, slightly elongated, about 2.4 by 2 arc minutes in apparent size, large, low surface brightness halo, which we're seeing here on the screen, sharply concentrated with a very bright, relatively small core and an intensely bright, tiny nucleus. I think we're overwhelming the nucleus of this one. A magnitude 12 star is at the eastern edge, about 1 arc minute from the center. I do believe this direction up here is west, and this is east, north, and south from previous observations. Right here we have NGC 2998, again at 100% zoom. It's Galaxy, of course, like most. Visual magnitude 12.5, size 2.9 by 1.3 arc minutes with an average surface brightness of 13.9 and a position angle of 53 degrees. It's at 9 hours, 48 minutes, 43.6 seconds, and plus, I dipped a little below 45 for this one. 44:04:52 arc seconds in Ursa Majoris. Oh well, let's go ahead with it anyway. Through a 17.5-inch scope of 91, Steve said fairly faint, fairly small, elongated 2-to-1 southwest northeast. Weak, even concentration with a magnitude 11 star, 3 arc minutes southwest, and a 13 star, 1.9. Let's see if I can capture that again. I was just looking at it. 1.9 northwest of center. Brightest in the group including NGC 3006, 7 arc minutes southeast, NGC 3008, 9.2 arc minutes east, and NGC 3005, 6.4 arc minutes northeast. So we should be looking for several galaxies on the field. here we hope to see NGC 3027. Another galaxy, 9 hours 55 minutes 40.5 seconds plus 72 degrees 12 minutes and 13 seconds in Ursa Majoris. Visual magnitude is supposed to be 11.8, but it's fairly large, 4.3 by 2.0 arc minutes, 2:1 aspect ratio with an average surface brightness of 13.9 and a position angle of 130 degrees to a 17.5-inch scope in 1992. Steve says fairly large, elongated northwest to southeast, 3 by 2 weak concentration, low surface brightness, 2 magnitude 15 stars superimposed at the northwest end of the major axis and at the south edge. NGC 2985 lays 25 arc minutes west-northwest. We're not going to see that. It's too far off this screen. We're not making out much of anything at all. Really can't point it out to you. I probably have to try this at 10-second exposure under these conditions. There are high thin clouds floating overhead, which could have contributed to our loss of seeing this particular galaxy. We are now on to our largest, brightest galaxy of the evening, NGC 3031. Let me give you a description of it. NGC 3031, 9 hours, 55 minutes, 33.2 seconds right ascension, plus 69 degrees, 3 minutes, 55 seconds. It's in Ursa Majoris. Its visual magnitude of 6.9 has a size of 26.9 by 11.1 arc minutes and an average surface brightness of 13.2. Its position angle is 157 degrees. Through a 17.5-inch scope in 93, a Type 2 supernova 19933 was very prominent at 11th magnitude at the time, 2.8 arc minutes south-southwest of the nucleus. The supernova was followed for a number of nights, even in light blue skies, in a 10-inch scope at Steve's home. The supernova was one of the brightest supernovae of the 20th century, reaching magnitude 10.7 to 10.8. Given that supernova was located about 11 million light years away in Messier 82, which we're not getting a particularly good view of this evening, we are seeing the spiral arms going out in a very S shape. The galaxy is about 90 million light years in diameter, maybe 100. It's 11 million light years away, and this galaxy is probably slightly larger than our own. We can only hope that ours is as beautiful to other distant observers as Messier 81 is. Thought I might step through this one. We're at 28, 40%, 50% zoom, 60% zoom, 70, as you can see, 80, 90, 100, using what I assume is every pixel in the region of the screen at 100% zoom. We are, of course, looking at the other Bode's galaxy, Messier 82. It is also known as NGC 3034 and has the descriptive name of the Cigar Galaxy. It's at 9 hours, 55 minutes, 52.7 seconds, plus 69 degrees, 40 minutes, and 46 seconds in Ursa Majoris. And because it has a slightly higher NGC designation, clearly it is located east. It's located east of the other Bode's galaxy, Messier 81. Okay, the galaxy has a visual magnitude of 8.4, so a couple magnitudes fainter than its larger, brighter confrere. Size 11.2 by 4.3 arc minutes with an average surface brightness of 12.5 and a position angle of 65 degrees. Through a 48-inch scope, stunning view at 330x with numerous irregular dark rifts slicing up the mottled clumpy surface, which we're seeing. Several very small bright knots or condensations. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an exposure at 30 seconds because that should approximate to a 40-inch eyepiece view of the Cigar Galaxy. Well, to be clear, if we had a nice dark sky at this point, and got some reflected luminosity off clouds, we would get that approximated version of a 48-inch telescopic view with a 30-second exposure. So here we're going to move on. Let's take a look at, go back one galaxy and have another look at 30 seconds. I can, however, play. Well, it doesn't help us much. All right, well, let's move on. Here's a quick view of both Bode's galaxies with Messier 81 centered. And of course, at 30 seconds, we are, without doing an enormous number of stacks, we're being overwhelmed by background light. But there we have it at a low power view, roughly about 50x. Here we are having a nice view at 10-second exposure because the sky is now darkened enough to use 10-second exposures of NGC 3043. 9 hours, 56 minutes, 14.6 seconds, plus 59 degrees, 18 minutes, 25 seconds in Ursa Majoris. A very nice slice of light, this edge-on galaxy, with a visual magnitude of 12.6, 1.7 by 0.6 arc minutes, so almost a 3-to-1 aspect ratio, with an average surface brightness of 12.4 and 84 degrees in position angle. Quick description: through a 17.5 scope in 1988, moderately bright, fairly small, very elongated, 5-to-2, west-southwest, east-northeast, 1.2 by 0.5 arc minutes visible, small bright core located 8 minutes south of magnitude 7.9, SAO 27433. Here we have our faintest galaxy of the evening with an faintest average surface brightness of 14.0. This is NGC 3057 at 10 hours, 5 minutes, 39.5 seconds, plus 80 degrees, 17 minutes, and 9 seconds in Draco the Dragon. Visual magnitude 13.0, 2.2 by 1.3 arc minutes, surface brightness of 14.0, and a position angle of 5 degrees. This one looks fairly nebulous. Let's see if this turns out to be our description. 3057. Through a 17.5-inch scope in 1989, faint, moderately large, elongated, 2 magnitude 13.4 to 14 stars are off the south edge. So that would be in this direction here. That does sound like our NGC 3057. Now on to another galaxy, NGC 3061, which I believe is right there, but it's probably got several faint confreres at various directions. We're at 100% zoom. NGC 3061, 9 hours, 56 minutes, 11.9 seconds, plus 75 degrees, 51 minutes, and 59 seconds in Draco. Magnitude 12.8, size rather smallish, 1.7 by 1.5, and an average surface brightness of 13.6. 1989 through a 17.5-inch scope. Steve Gottlieb describes it as faint, fairly large, slightly elongated, low surface brightness. There are 2 faint stars at the edges. Magnitude 14.5, 1.8 arc minutes northwest of center, and a faint 15th magnitude star, 0.9 south-southeast. This should be northwest. So in this direction here, west and north. And our candidate is probably this one right here. Hey, we should be seeing NGC 3065 here. It's at 10 hours, 1 minute, 55.3 seconds, plus 72 degrees, 10 minutes, 13 seconds in Ursa Majoris. Visual magnitude 12.5, size 1.7 by 1.7, face on with an average surface brightness of 13.5. I do believe there's something suggestive of a faint galaxy here. Let's see if it maps against Steve's description. Steve says on 1992 through a 17.5, moderately bright, fairly small, round, gradual, moderate concentration, but no sharp core. Only slightly fainter than NGC 3065, 3 arc minutes north-northwest, but has a smoother surface brightness. Well, there's clearly a galaxy there, north-northwest. This is west and north. I'm not sure what exactly we're looking at here. I may play with a histogram a little bit, but I don't have to give myself much time these days because we want to get this down in time. So you can see I'm playing with the histogrammic slider to the left and the one to the right. And we're having a little trouble bringing this baby out. Sky conditions may be a factor. NGC 3066 is located right about there, I do believe. There may be another one in the image as well. 10 hours, 2 minutes, 11.0 arc seconds, 72 degrees north, 7 minutes and 31 seconds in Ursa Majoris. Its visual magnitude is 12.9, but it's smallish, 1.1 by 1.0, which explains why it's fairly bright on the screen. Surface brightness is 12.9. Through a 17.5-inch scope in 1992, moderately bright, fairly small, round, gradual, moderate concentration, but no sharp core. Only slightly fainter than NGC 3065, 3 arc minutes to the north-northwest. So we should be getting a view of both the galaxies. This is the one we just missed, I believe 3665. I'll have to annotate that later. This may be our actual study right here, NGC 3066. Here we have NGC 3073 at 100% zoom. 10 hours, 0 minutes, 52.0 seconds, plus 55 degrees, 37 minutes and 7 seconds in Ursa Majoris. Visual magnitude is 13.4 with a size of 1.3 by 1.2 arc minutes and an average surface brightness of 13.7. This is the faintest of the galaxies this evening overall. Through a 17.5-inch scope in March of 1988, faint, small, round, located 10 degree arc minutes west-southwest of NGC 3079, which we have a view of later on. 3079 is probably this more edgy-on galaxy here, and this is our study, I suspect, 3073. NGC 3077, I really had to play with the histograms on this setting, on this one, in order to bring it out. It's NGC 3077 is at 10 hours, 3 minutes, 19.1 seconds, plus 68 degrees, 44 minutes and 2 seconds in Ursa Majoris. Has a visual magnitude of 9.9, as you might suspect, quite large, 5.4 by 4.5 arc minutes, with an average surface brightness of 13.2 and a position angle of 45 degrees. Through a 24-inch scope in 2014 at 260x, appeared very bright, very large, oval 4 to 3, southwest and northeast, with a large, bright core, gradually increases to a small, brighter inner core and occasionally a faint stellar nucleus. Right. The nucleus is probably being overpowered here. The outer halo seems brighter or more extension to the north following slide and gradually fades, so the periphery has a very low surface brightness. Two similar unequal doubles are in the field, STF 1400, an 8.0 and a 9.8 magnitude star at 3.4 second separation, lies 3.8 arc minutes northwest, and STF 1398, 8.1 to 11.4 at 3.6 seconds, lies 10 seconds. All he's got is lies 10 seconds. Wow, the histogram setting made a great deal of difference on NGC 3079. Wow. Extraordinary. I was only seeing the core before I moved the slider slightly to the left. There are values that are put up here. Maximum 6536, minimum 561. So there are values on the screen that I can make reference to. but it varies from location in the sky to location. NGC 3079, 10 hours, 1 minute, 57.3 seconds, plus 55 degrees, 40 minutes, 54 seconds in Ursa Majoris. Fairly bright, 10.9, as you can see, and 7.9 by 1.4 arc minutes, so about a 5-to-1 aspect ratio. Average surface brightness 13.4, 165 degree position angle through a 48-inch scope. On 2013 only took a quick look at this gorgeous showpiece edge on at 375x. The entire length of the galaxy appeared very mottled, clumpy, and dusty, although there was no distinct dust line. All right, that's all I have time to share on that. You can look up Steve's work. I'll give you a link in the description. We're now on to NGC 3102. Galaxy, of course, 10 hours, 4 minutes, 31.7 seconds, plus 60 degrees, 6 minutes, 29 seconds in Ursa Majoris. Its visual magnitude is 13.3, size 0.8 by 0.8 arc minute, face on, surface brightness 12.6. This is the smallest galaxy of the evening. I think we're making it out pretty distinctly right there. Herschel discovered 3102 on 9th of April 1793, recorded extremely faint, very small stellar nebula near a small star. I wished to see it with a higher power, but it was far too advanced to the west. Caroline's reduced position is 2.4 arc minutes southwest of UGC 5418. Herschel logged on 25 March 1832 and said faint, fairly small, round, brighter middle. Of course, double star points to it as a limited 30 arc seconds distance, position 142.2. Last study on the list for this evening is NGC 3111, 10 hours, 6 minutes, 7.4 seconds, plus 47 degrees, 15 minutes, 45 seconds in Ursa Majoris. Visual magnitude 13.0, 0.9 by 0.8 arc minutes with an average surface brightness of 12.5 through a 17.5-inch scope in 1999. Steve describes it as fairly faint, small, round, 0.8 arc minutes in diameter with a weak concentration towards the center, very faint stellar nucleus at moments, forms eastern vertex of an equilateral triangle with 2 magnitude 11, 11.5 stars, 4.3 arc minutes to the southwest, and 4 arc minutes to the northwest. So this is our galaxy here, and these are probably the 2 stars that Steve referenced. Before we go out tonight, let's take one last look at Bode's Galaxies before I say the phrase. What we have here are two 30-second passes at Bode's Galaxies, Messier 81 and 82. And with that, I am going to say